In this week's under $100 review, we have Professor Pickleball's PhD paddle. If you've seen the ads, you'll see that Professor Pickleball's claim to fame is that they've produced a carbon fiber paddle and have kept it in that under $100 mark. The Professor PhD paddle is made of Toray T700 carbon fiber material, has an official online list price of $99, which can be reduced to $89 with the discount code PBMed. I'll run through some specific facts and specifications you should know about this paddle. I'll share the objective data such as RPMs, swing, and twist weight, and I'll share my subjective opinion on how I think this paddle played and who I think would or would not like playing with this paddle. And like always, if you like the review, don't forget to subscribe. Here's some things to know about the Professor PhD. Like mentioned before, it's made of Toray T700 carbon fiber. It comes in the hybrid shape at 16.5 by 7.5 inches, and it has a 5.5 inch long handle. Professor Pickleball does offer a 14-day test drive period where you can play and test the paddle for up to 2 weeks after delivery, and you can return it if you don't like it, but you do have to pay a restocking fee. They also have a 90-day warranty against manufacturer defects. This doesn't cover normal wear and tear play of the paddle, so where manufacturer defects ends and normal wear and tear begins, hard to say, but time will tell. I'll also put a direct link to the Professor Pickleball website in the description below. Swing weight came back at 121, which is comparable to the isocentric or 𝐥𝐢𝐬𝐿's Pursuit Pro MX. To me, it still feels pretty maneuverable, but I think at 121 you're right on the border between feeling a bit heavy and maintaining maneuverability. Twist weight came back at 6.01, which seems to me to be right in the middle between stability and lateral paddle maneuverability. The paddle definitely has a nice carbon fiber feel to it. It's not smooth nor is it gritty, like the kind of surface that wears away over time. It's got a good feel and sound that you can appreciate when inspecting the paddle face. With an average of 0.3 seconds per revolution measured at 1/10 normal speed, our RPMs came back at 1999. This is definitely in our upper echelon of paddle spin and is most notably comparable to the Vatic Pro V7 carbon fiber and the Gearbox Pro Control. Like you might expect, I felt like this translated into gameplay well, and in terms of spin, I'd have to give the Professor PhD an A. I definitely felt control was another PhD strength. Dinks, drops, and resets all felt pretty good, and overall, I'd give it an A- on control. In terms of power and overall speed that I could get the ball to, I definitely had to work harder to get the ball moving as fast as I wanted it to. It was improvable with lead tape, so I wouldn't fail it, but you'd have to be okay with taking on the extra overall weight in order to gain some power. Those things considered, I'd give the power a B-, and along the same lines in terms of pop, it's not a very poppy paddle, and this is good for control. It's not going to just like pop and get away from you, but for people who like poppy paddles to do the work for them, this is definitely more on the mild side, and I'd give the pop a C. I didn't think to look at the handle till right before I made the video, but it appears that the polymer on the edge isn't fully encapsulated in a solid component. Instead, an edge tape's been used to cover up and cushion the handle. This wasn't something I noticed at all during gameplay, and the PhD also has kind of a cushiony grip, which probably helps mitigate that. But I know some people care, so there it is. In summary, I thought the Professor PhD paddle served as a good control paddle, and it had great spin. I'll put the different grades that I gave it for the playability factors up on the screen as well, just as a reminder. And for under $100 and even under $90 with the discount code, I don't think you can go that wrong. I think the most comparable paddle it plays like might be the Vatic Prism Flash or even the Rhombus R116, with all three of those paddles being kind of in the same ballpark, with the Professor Pickleball PhD paddle having just a little bit more of a plush feel to it, both in terms of when you hit the ball and when you feel the paddle face. If you prefer playing with a paddle that has a plush feel, is really good on control, and has great spin, this might be a great paddle for you. People who may like the PhD a little less are people who like paddles with a lot of pop and a lot of power. I think it's modifiable with lead tape, but it certainly leans more on the control side. Those are my thoughts on the Professor Pickleball's PhD paddle. If you've had a chance to play with it, let us know what you think in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed the review.